on the list. Tips for safe summer driving.
Pay attention to front of you. Look at where the 18-wheelers are.
Plus, when one show ends, we have what to watch next.
Anyone can betray anyone. You should know that.
But first, we break down the myths about cholesterol.
It's not the evil villain that we've made it out to be.
It's your life, it's your list, and it starts right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Christina Guerrero.
And I'm Jimmy Rhodes with a pretty shocking statistic. 38% of us have high cholesterol.
Yeah, but before you hit the panic button, consider this. There's a lot of new research proving that the old research should be taken with a grain of salt or salt substitute.
Good call. Time to get caught up on cholesterol. From diet to drugs, we're busting cholesterol myths. And that's our featured story at the top of the list.
The fact that more than a third of Americans have high cholesterol is cause for concern, but a lot of the information we've heard over the decades is simply not true.
It's not the evil villain that we've made it out to be. It is vital in the production of new tissue, and it assists in producing bile in the liver, which helps you break down your food.
Fitness nutritionist Greg McCoy shares some debunked cholesterol myths. Let's start with the fact that until recently, the FDA recommended no more than 300 milligrams of cholesterol a day. For some perspective, a single egg has 212 milligrams.
In 2015, they actually removed the daily limit of cholesterol, saying that there's no upper limit in dietary cholesterol because they cannot prove the link between dietary cholesterol and cholesterol in the blood.
Greg says it's important to understand the two types.
There's basically two types of cholesterol: high-density HDL cholesterol, which we've nicknamed the good cholesterol, and then low-density LDL cholesterol, which we've nicknamed the bad cholesterol.
The American Heart Association says the HDL, or good stuff, helps lower the LDL bad stuff naturally, but it's important to keep it in check.
When LDL starts to get too high in the blood, that's when you start to develop plaque on the insides. You get hardening of arteries. That's what leads to heart disease and heart attacks.
Next cholesterol myth busted: high cholesterol foods are bad. Greg says it's actually the type of fat we need to watch out for.
So some of the foods that are very healthy fats for you, they will help increase your HDL cholesterol. They've got either monounsaturated fats in them or polyunsaturated fats in them.
Nuts, avocados, and grass-fed eggs are examples. Then there's the saturated fat found in red meat, which he says is fine in moderation.
There's a wide variety of cuts of beef. If you're going to have the fattiest cut of beef, yes, it's going to have the most saturated fat in it.
Greg recommends pairing high-fiber foods like veggies with those fatty meats because it plays an important role in our cholesterol levels.
Making sure that you get your daily fiber intake is actually going to reduce that LDL cholesterol.
We'll wrap with the myth that fit people don't need to worry about cholesterol.
Being fit does not exclude you from needing to worry about cholesterol. Being externally healthy looking and internally healthy don't go hand in hand all of the time.
Genetic predisposition and lifestyle factors such as smoking and stress can boost our bad cholesterol.
There are no symptoms of high cholesterol. You're never going to feel having high cholesterol. The only way to know is to get regular blood work done and have those cholesterol levels checked.
The American Heart Association recommends that adults over the age of 20 get their cholesterol checked at least every 4 years. Keeping our cholesterol info in check is at the top of the list.
While a lot of people think winter is the time you need to be aware of seasonal driving concerns, summer is no time to let down your guard. So we are keeping you safe with summer driving tips.
If you're gearing up for that summer road trip, you're not alone.
We want to be free and out and go visit and do things and visit family and hit the beaches.
But before you start your engine, there's a few things you gotta know to stay safe on the road. So we spoke with Shahei Kalukian, auto expert and owner of Masvo Auto in Phoenix, Arizona, to learn a few safety tips. First, the time of day to drive.
The rule of thumb to be safe is always drive into sunset, not sunrise. Because what happens is the actual glares of the sun will hit you in many different directions, especially those big 18-wheeler milk trucks that are shiny. Even though they're kind of buffed, it will glare at you. Sometimes the actual mud flaps off of trucks are pure chrome, and that will blind you very quickly as well.
Next, don't play Frogger.
The biggest mistake that a lot of people do that cause accidents is playing Frogger. Sure, you want to get there faster again. You're switching from lane to lane. The car behind you is doing the same thing. That is a bad idea, because when you play Frogger, you'll find out, and most of us may not admit it, you'll end up right in the same position as the guy you passed 5 minutes ago. If you need to pass as needed, not because you're trying to get there faster.
Shahay's third tip, pay attention to other drivers.
The saying goes, it's not you, it's the other driver. Well, guess what? It's reverse. You also are the other driver for that person. So make sure that you do your due diligence and drive safe. By driving safe is paying attention. Obviously, we know distractions, cell phones, music, kids in the back, that's huge. But pay attention to front of you. Look at where the 18-wheelers are. Try to avoid nosing right behind them, because they obviously can't see you.
Finally, when changing lanes, make room and slow down.
You see cars coming behind you, give yourself almost 2 cars of a distance. Slowing down doesn't necessarily mean braking, because if you hit the brake, the person behind you thinks, oh my God, there's something going on, and they're gonna hit their brakes as well. Actually, let go of the accelerator and naturally slow down. When you have that 2-car distance in front of you, that's when you start looking to make your change of the lane. That way you've done it comfortably and you're ready to accelerate naturally.
We're staying safe on the road thanks to these driving tips.
Having a robust vocabulary and a nice speaking voice are perfectly fine things, but they don't make you a great communicator. Too often we take the ability to convey a clear message for granted. So Teresa Strasser has tips to improve your communication skills.
The way we speak to each other can undeniably make or break relationships.
No two people think the same way. We have to be really discerning in the way we use our language.
Intentional living expert Diane Forster helps us reap the benefits of good communication with some tips that'll help you get what you want.
Your relationships are healthier, your communication with your boss and your peers is better. There's a lot of reasons why you want to master effective communication.
First up, learn to say what you want versus what you don't want.
Say you're at home, you're on the phone, and somebody's in the room and they're watching television and it's loud.
Responding negatively will only attract more of the same.
Like, can't you see I'm on the phone here? Or can't you see I'm trying to do something here? Instead, say, I'm on the phone right now and I could really use a little more quiet. So would you mind turning down the TV for a little bit? You're going to get much better results with that. So it won't spark negative emotions. It won't ignite into a fight or any of those things.
Also, avoid using the phrases you always and you never.
Because the person who's hearing that and receiving that is immediately going to go in defensive mode. It doesn't feel good to be branded as you never listen to me or you always talk over me.
Instead, point to how you're feeling.
You can say, it makes me feel like I'm not heard when you speak over me. And then the other person can go, okay, I get it. I see how you're feeling right now.
Finally, being an effective communicator ultimately means mastering the art of being a good listener.
The good listener is actually the best communicator. How you really hear everything is to just not be talking. Stop talking and listen.
So avoid interruptions or talking over someone.
The person feels seen, heard, appreciated, and acknowledged in that moment, and they're much more open to having more dialogue with you.
We're helping you be the best version of yourself by getting your communication skills in check.
Here's what's coming up on the list.
It's delicious.
A new twist on the cinnamon roll.
This one is a messy one, but totally worth it.
And stunning looks from the roaring 20s.
A lot of the lips that they did were very dark, very red.
Plus, crime dramas you won't want to miss.
It's got some dark elements of conspiracy.
Next on the list.
Guys, I know you're right in the middle of watching, but I just wanted to remind you to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss 1 minute of the list. All right, now back to the show.
We're back. Few things are more irresistible than the aroma of a fresh baked cinnamon roll. But get this, there are ways to make them vegan and gluten-free, and no one will know the difference. We're baking up some delicious cinnamon buns with a healthful twist.
Hot Rich and covered in frosting, there's never a bad time to rip into a cinnamon roll. But not all are created equal.
Well, when I think of baking, I think of butter, and I think of cream, or I think of milk.
We just use all like plant-based products. We have substitutes for everything.
Bernice Bedoya, a baker for Cinnaholic in Tempe, Arizona, shares 3 delightfully decadent plant-based cinnamon rolls. Let's start with the Cookie Monster.
Are all of these going to be on kind of the same base?
Yeah, so our dough for these are the same. We always bake them fresh. Like, we can't let them sit. They have to be fresh.
Did you pick the better of the two?
I actually did.
There you go. I'm ready.
Cinnaholic keeps their specific dough recipe secret, but you can find plenty of plant-based cinnamon roll recipes online.
So it's the toppings that make the Cookie Monster a Cookie Monster, right?
Exactly.
Spread a thick layer of plant-based cream cheese frosting over the top, then scoop on a big dollop of chocolate chip cookie dough.
Put it in your hand, and you're gonna just set it right on top. Kind of like push it in so it's nice and snug.
Sprinkle chocolate chips and then top it off with a drizzle of chocolate sauce.
It's delicious. It's decadent.
It is.
Oh, but that's a sugar bomb for sure.
Next, get fruity with sparkleberry.
So after we have our roll, we're gonna go ahead and get our chocolate frosting.
Okay, that's not a bad start.
Spread a thick layer of chocolate frosting over the top, then cover that with colorful candy sprinkles.
What makes it the sparkleberry is the berries. So we have to have a little bit of berries.
Slice up a bunch of strawberries and place them on top.
I gotta say, this one is a messy one, but totally worth it.
Finally, go party-sized with the Cinna Cake.
So what we do is we take our rolls, we put them in the pan. You know, we have a little technique to make sure that we pinch them and make sure everything stays together so it's actually a cake and not just individual rolls.
Spread strawberry frosting to cover the top, then use a knife to draw 1-inch lines diagonally across the frosting.
These are just gonna be our guidelines
Oh,
for our toppings.
Then use those guidelines to help alternate the toppings of the 3 major food groups: marshmallows, sprinkles, and cookie dough.
Get a little bit narrower and doink right there. I can't believe, I just want to reiterate,
It's yummy.
this is entirely plant-based and yet it still feels like a treat.
The synergy of cinnamon in a bun with a vegan twist.
You've heard the saying, you're not getting older, you're getting better. Well, we found people who are doing just that. Teresa Strasser looks at a few seniors showing no signs of slowing down. Teresa.
Thank you. These seniors are inspiring folks of all ages with their amazing accomplishments. Coming in at number 1, Naples, Florida, 94-year-old Bob Blum recently became Kaiser University's oldest grad.
I kid everybody and I say I'll probably get a job before anybody else graduating because I'm going to claim age discrimination. So.
Despite having a home, a family, and a stable job, he just felt there was something missing.
One day I said, I want to get my college diploma. Now I'm grown up. You know, I'm not a kid anymore.
And he graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Interdisciplinary Studies.
Sounds very romantic, but it's a very detailed, expanded business course.
A challenging curriculum, but we are sure it was no biggie for Bob. At number 2, Nashville, Tennessee, 90-year-old Charlotte Pike is a Chick-fil-A employee who is being praised for her willingness to hustle.
Welcome to Chick-fil-A. How are you today? Hey, pretty girl. I came to Chick-fil-A after I retired because I couldn't sit at home anymore. I love to work.
She's been working there for 11 years. She used to be the lead hostess and now is the store's lead ambassador.
She's so loving. She's the grandmother to so many people or just a friend to so many people.
And the retired school bus driver says she doesn't have any secret sauce. She just enjoys working.
Love getting up every morning and getting myself ready and coming to work every day.
And third on our amazing seniors list, Phoenix, Arizona's Audrey Matheson recently celebrated her 100th birthday with a rip around the block in a red Corvette.
She wanted to go fast.
She's a wonderful little lady. We just love her.
Audrey's friends and family threw her a surprise party, calling in a visit from a local Corvette club, the fire department, and Wildlife Foundation.
This is the cake. I'm a bit shaken up. This has been quite a day.
And those were a few inspirational seniors that we just had to share. Lots more to come on the list. Stay with us.
We are back. Now, when a TV show you love ends, it's kind of like a friend moving away. You feel a little lost. Well, sometimes the only thing to do is find a rebound. So we are helping you decide what to watch when your binge wraps up on the hot list.
With so many streaming services available, sometimes it's hard to decide what to watch next.
We're talking about a very common problem today, which is that there are so many shows out there.
Helping us save time and narrow down what to watch next is senior editor of Primetimer.com and author of the Primetimer Guide to Streaming TV, Erin Barnhart. First up, for fans of period pieces like Bridgerton,
We must all follow our passions. One I recommend that's on Apple TV Plus just debuted is called The Essex Serpent.
set in the Victorian era, the show revolves around the character of Cora Seaborn, played by Claire Danes, a woman who is convinced that the village is haunted by a mythological sea serpent.
Not mythical, real.
Along similar lines is another amazing series on HBO Max, Gentleman Jack.
She isn't always as feminine as some people would like her to be.
This is based on a true story about a woman who passed for a man, or at least did manly things in the 19th century, and it's got a lot of those quirky twists to it that I think people like from their costume dramas.
Well, now you know me better.
Up next, for fans of westerns like Yellowstone,
My name is Captain John Brown!
There are other series that also explore the American history that we thought we knew. One example of this is The Good Lord Bird, and it's set in Kansas in the 1850s.
America reigns without a rival!
you can catch this series on Showtime.
If we don't stop him, he's gonna kill me.
Another one I like to recommend is Longmire on Netflix. The theme you see in a lot of the new westerns is really making it very palatable and relevant to 21st century audiences, and I think Longmire does that better than any other.
Don't let them win.
And finally, if you're a fan of crime dramas like Ozark,
The print we lifted from the victim is from your son.
Apple TV has got a show called Defending Jacob. You've got a family that's sort of rallying around to beat back an enemy, in this case a state that wants to prosecute their son.
You can be a good man, or you can be a good father.
another show in the same vein is The Night Manager.
Starring Hugh Laurie as a night manager at a hotel, and it's got some dark elements of conspiracy.
Welcome to the family.
Helping you decide what to watch when your favorite show ends on the hot list. We'll be right back. This is your place for great lifestyle trends, tips, and helpful hints.
It can help calm us, improve our mood.
What's new, what's now, and what's next? TheListTV.com.
Welcome back. Call it a coincidence, but the vintage style and beauty of the 1920s is making a comeback in the 2020s. Celebrities are embracing the flapper decade by rocking some roaring 20s looks. So Hattie D. Jamal's getting all dolled up jazz age style.
Roaring 20s beauty is back with the modern twist. So we're turning to professional makeup artist Denise Black to help us travel back to the future through our face. The 1920s economic boom made glitz and glam the standard, so makeup was back, Jack. If you want to get swanky, you're gonna need to get smoky.
I personally love an intense smoky eye that doesn't have to be so linear.
The 20s were a modern age of rebellion, and what better way to protest than serving looks?
Back in the day, they didn't do it so structured like some people do nowadays.
In a decade all about breaking the rules, they didn't color within the lines using their eyeshadow, they smudged.
So I'm just gonna smoke out your bottom lash line. This is really gonna help create that smoky, intense eye.
Before the 20s, wearing makeup was risque, but society's attitude shifted and no one blushed about wearing makeup anymore unless they wanted to. Bringing us to color your cheeks.
Back in the day, they did a lot more cheek focus here.
Subtle cheeks may be a thing now, but putting on the Ritz meant you wanted cheeks that pop.
If you smile, you can see where the apples of your cheeks are, so we're just gonna focus the color.
The flapper decade was all about bringing that doll face to life, and rouge was all the rage.
They definitely did very bold cheeks back then.
The 20s saw makeup become more affordable, but not more available. Using lipstick as blush was common and a staple item for any dame to have. Wrapping us up with paint your pout.
So a lot of the lips that they did were very vampy, very dark, very red. So we're going to use different shades of red to kind of create that ombre effect.
This makeup technique is called the Cupid's bow, and your lip liner is the arrow that brings it all together.
We're not going to overline anywhere. We're not going to overline out here. We're not going to overline under here.
There weren't many color options, so lipsticks were labeled light, medium, and dark.
I think this part people had a lot of fun with because you can kind of go as vampy and as intense as you want.
And now you're ready to paint the town red.
I think we're missing something.
Makeup trends that say, I am 20s, hear me roar.
Ah, what a time to live in the 1920s. The style, the finesse, the speakeasies, I would have fit right in.
Sure you would have, Jimmy. You know, I'm a fan of leggings and sneakers, so I'm just going to stick to 2022.
Are those things in right now?
They are.
YouTube, you stayed to the end. Thank you. Don't forget to like this video, leave us a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a list. And we have some more episodes for you right over there. You're going to enjoy them. I picked them out just for you.